What show had the perfect ending? Does Chernobyl count despite only being a mini-series? Oh, it absolutely counts. Learning what happened to all the real people portrayed in the series, seeing what they actually looked like, and learning in such vivid detail what the ultimate cost of the tragedy was, all whilst that really haunting choir sings in the background. I tear up just thinking about it. Hell yay. The final episode was so awesomely great, even though it was basically an hour-long lecture about what happened. I promised myself I would watch it again sometime. Guess the time came. Blackadder goes forth. Oh, we've survived it, the Great War, from 1914 to 1917. God damn. A line like that shouldn't be in a comedy. That and the so simple good luck everyone. I've always found the end of Blackadder to be shockingly profound in a way that only truly great comedy is capable of, but didn't click with me until just now that when Baldrick Darling makes that statement at the end, it's to inform the audience that the war isn't going to be over for another year, twisting the knife a little deeper as the men form up and solemnly face their duty. I hope history teachers still let kids watch Blackadder like they did back when I was young and at school. When studying World War I, he played us every episode. The whole series is a masterpiece. Probably my favorite comedy line of all time will always be, "No sir, it's the Germans we shall be licking sir, don't be revolting darling, I wouldn't lick a German if he was glazed in honey." Came here to say this. Nothing encapsulates the stupidity and horror of World War I so poignantly. I think this has to be the answer really. Not only did it seem like a fitting end to an incredible series, but it managed to pay full respect to the deep tragedy of World War I without undermining the comedy. That is one hell of an achievement. Over the Garden Wall. The ending was perfect because word comes to the realization, along with Beatrice, that what they both did was wrong, and they actively work to fix their mistakes, and it ends in a climatic fight where Wirt doesn't physically fight the beast, instead rejecting the beast and finding his own path, and that path led him and his brother home. What an underrated show. Definitely wished we got more of this. Nevertheless, the ending was just beautiful. I feel like Over the Garden Wall is a slice of cake scenario. You have one slice of cake. It is so good. It is unbelievably good. You want more cake. You want to eat the entire cake. But just because that one slice was so amazing doesn't mean that it's a good idea to eat the entire cake. I think part of the reason Over the Garden Wall was so perfect is because they serve you only a single slice, so to speak. 6 Feet Under. Ed and Eddie. I remember that final scene actually making me cry. I grew up on the original series, remember when the new season came out with them at school, and then the finale movie. It almost hurt to have something that was with me my entire childhood wrap up so definitively. I read that you finally meet Eddie's brother in the finale. I got to go back and watch that at some point. Yes, the finale is beautiful. You really should. No spoilers here, but it wraps up a lot of running plot points. Futurama, so good it had 3 perfect endings. 4 endings in fact. The Devil's Hands are idle playthings, Into the Wild Green Yonder, Overclockwise, and then finally Meanwhile were all written as series finales. That show was cancelled a ridiculous number of times. I'm so happy it lasted as long as it did. Please don't stop playing, Fry. I want to hear how it ends. The best of the endings in my opinion, but I'm glad it continued. Not enough people appreciate the ending for that show. The last line is meta for inviting the audience to watch it again. I think it was Comedy Central that ran a Futurama marathon, and after the last episode they ran the first episode again. Yup, just faded so smoothly into the first episode I watched the first 5 minutes thinking they were doing something new. I'm pretty sure they did that when they originally aired the series finale. I feel like Q's last speech encompassed what the spirit of Star Trek was supposed to be about, not space battles and charting new planets, but expanding the possibilities of humanity. Great ending. You were always welcome. So, 5-card stud, Nothing wild. And the sky's the limit. Gravity Falls. First show to ever make me cry. What really got me were the two paper dippers in the rain, that just surprised me. Yeah, they're the two who stole Robbie's bike. Fleabag. It'll pass. The Good Place, pretty sure I cried. I love it when they put the story before the ratings. There was more than enough audience to warrant another season, but they decided to plan the best ending to the story instead. Very well done. I'm pretty most of us, if not all of us, thought the ending was damn good. I would much rather have a show with a good ending rather than drag on for too long. My thoughts exactly. And I loved how it didn't decide what the audience's philosophical standpoint should be, it left you to have your own thoughts about the content. Same. And if you haven't watched it yet, check out there. It's beautiful to watch the actors go through the emotional roller coaster of the last episode. Edit, all my first award. And for a Good Place post. Man, that's just the best. So I found this show after my dad passed away last June. I thought watching it would be hard, but it was the opposite. It brought me peace, and it helped me to laugh and cry, and to process life and death. It showed up for me when I needed it the most. And it's one of the few shows that has given me closure in both entertainment and real life. Simply amazing. YouTube link. Chidi's wave analogy is one of the most touching moments in recent TV history. Spoilers. When they left for the Good Place, I was confused because there were episodes left, and I said, how do you make a compelling story where everyone has their wildest needs met for eternity? But they did it. And they managed to make it feel earned, which is even harder. Came here to say this. I wept like a baby when Chidi left. That quote about the wave gets me every time. It was truly an absolutely perfect ending. They did not have to rip our hearts out by doing the whole heaven without a way out is prison in a way thing and then make us watch each main character go. But it really makes you think and made the ending so beautiful and poignant. Picture a wave in the ocean. You can see it, measure it, the height, the way the sunlight refracts when it passes through. It's there, you can see it, it's there, it's a wave. And then it crashes into shore and it's gone. But the water is still there. The wave was just a different way for the water to be for a little while. That felt like the longest few episodes of my life. Each time one of them decided to go, I could feel the hole in my heart, crying face, crying face, crying face. That's all one episode, the finale is double length, that they go through the doorway. Jason at the end, meditating for 1,000 Baramies just so he could give Janet the locket, had me bawling. By the end of the series, they all became what they pretended to be at the start of the show. Eleanor becomes a lawyer advocating for innocence in front of cosmic judges. Chidi becomes a decisive philosopher who designs a system to judge morality. Tahani reconnects with her family and becomes an architect, hosting the universe's greatest party. Finally, Jason becomes a stoic monk, content to sit and reflect for eons even after he had gotten everything he could out of the Good Place. Agreed. When Chidi and Eleanor are sitting by the window, I wept. So good. I've watched the whole show through twice and definitely cried at the ending both times. The Sopran. Fun fact, my dad's friend is the guy they zoom in on at the diner. He happened to hear about an open casting call in New York, thought, hey, I've got extra time. The producers liked his look. He emigrated from Italy to the US in the 90s, and hired him. He's still known as the guy who ended The Sopranos. Afterwards, he and James Gandolfini struck up a friendship and stayed in contact up until Gandolfini's death. Black Sails. MASH. I don't know about anyone's opinion, but this series had me tearing up in most of the episodes. I think one of the most popular would be Henry's passing, but the first episode that made me cry was in season 1, the one where Hawkeye's friend dies. Mine was BJ's anniversary when Hawkeye put a movie together for him and Hot Lips danced with him. YouTube link. Other tear-jerkers, when Margaret breaks down when the puppy dies. When Hawkeye has the memory surface about his cousin trying to drown him. When Colonel Potter's last buddy from World War I dies. When Klinger says Merry Christmas Charles after he finds out he gave all those boxes of candy to orphans and wanted no recognition. And then this bit with Hawkeye, takes you from tears to laughs so fast. Web link. The one episode in this that got me was Hawkeye's breakdown on the bus and telling the Korean woman to keep her chicken quiet. If you haven't seen the episode, I don't want to spoil it. But it really hit me. Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood. I'm so glad to see this so highly upvoted. I have never seen anything with a more perfect ending, especially considering it's got a perfect ending for all female, 30ing characters. My favorite anime and one of my favorite stories. I don't watch anime anymore but still try to watch FMAB once a year. Would love to buy the manga collection someday and read it. BoJack Horseman. All the characters got conclusions that they had earned and felt deserved and natural. Some were happy and some were bittersweet, but the show was fair to all of them. Oh, and Futurama. All 4 series finales laughing out loud. The View from Halfway Down may be my all-time favorite episode from any TV show ever. That one episode is a better suicide deterrent than all 4 seasons of 13 Reasons Why. I think BoJack Horseman really nailed the endings. As rapid as they came, they didn't feel forced. And they concluded the stories really, really well. If anything, I wish we got more character endings in the show. Sometimes crap happens and you just keep on living. BoJack is probably one of the best damn shows ever made. It went from being about the shenanigans of an alcoholic horse to something that chokes me every time. Time's Arrow is my favorite episode and left me absolutely stunned. Cowboy Bebop. You're going to carry that weight. See you, Space Cowboy. I'm not going there to die. I'm going to find out if I'm really alive. Travelers. Had such an unexpected ending. Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Yeah, that last episode was awesome. That final story arc and tie-in to the movies was better than the movies. Yo, Rex crying was so hard to watch. Find him. Find him. Find Fives. Man, I knew what was coming, and we all did, but what an ending. Breaking Bad. Love the use of El Paso by Marty Robbins in the finale. I hope Better Call Saul's ending will be equally satisfying. Jesse's journey, from stoner goofball kid sneaking out of a woman's window, to meth cook slave in a pit was absolutely heartbreaking. He was just used, abused, and gutted over and over again, by his parents and Walt. We needed El Camino to believe there is hope in the world. Baby Blue, Badfinger. Amazing choice of song. Avatar, The Last Airbender. The writer's wisdom and their respect for the maturity of their young audience to play sad music over the Agnikai between Zuko and Azula impresses me every time. It's a huge scene that's been built up to for 2 seasons, but the creators want you to know it's not a good thing that events came to this. I love it so much. Also, talk about never missing out to remind the audience that Azula is a victim and product of her surround, and that she's hurt. The beach episode gave us several moments where she showed honesty and sadness. Iroh said she's crazy, and she needs to go down. But it's an honest moment. He knows how it happened and that, to start healing, she needs to see that her greatest fear, failing the Fire Nation and her family's expectations, which she has dedicated her entire life and personality to, is not the end. It's the start of her realizing the life outside of it. Her story in the comics is still going. Honestly, not even just the epic-length finale, but the effing fantastic fourth wall-smashing recap episode gets me every damn time. Everyone being embarrassed except for Toph, who can face her worst qualities in the face and just laugh. It's so good. I didn't cry during the entire show. Tales of Ba Sing Se? Nothing. Appa's Lost Days. I was moved and just heartbroken, but no tears. But when Zuko and Iroh finally reconcile after almost a complete season of them not talking to each other, it effing broke me and I cried like a baby. 12-year-old bald boy beating grown fire-bending man was wild. 12-year-old bald boy and every single one of his past lives, more importantly. 112-year-old bald boy actually. Breaking, geriatric with multiple personality disorder attacks world leader. I was struck with how realistically and meaningfully they dealt with the idea of defeating the villain versus killing. Definitely something that just gets hand-waved away in K-Kids shows, but Atla did such a great job of handling that in tone and execution. Plus that final fight really lived up to the hype. Deep Space Nine had a really good one. Especially if you followed the characters since Season 1 and saw how they all grew and changed over the 7 seasons. Newhart. Assassination Classroom. Still upsets me, but yes, I agree. Good Omens. Malcolm in the Middle. The amount of planning and work Lois did to get Malcolm to the finish line is astounding. We need more moms like her. Lois was completely misguided, but when Malcolm quotes Paul McCartney, you know that he finally really understands her. I was just rewatching it with my daughter. We both particularly love the plan for Malcolm. We all thought you knew. And that Dewey gets to be incredibly wealthy and do whatever he wants. Justified. Justice League Unlimited. Psych. Samurai Champloo. Mad Men. It's really subtle but really nicely wraps up Don's development as a character and even how American culture changed with the times. Super satisfying. Backdoor Sluts Volume 3. Man, that show holds up so well. I remember being really worried it would turn into a pretty generic anime from the pace of the first few episodes, but it's now one of my absolute favorites. The ending literally could not have been better. Code Geass Season 2 was like a car crash that somehow spun around and did a perfect parallel parking. Schitt's Creek. Yes. For every character, such a perfect ending. It's a great ending. The only unfortunate part is that Johnny, Stevie and Roland invested in a motel empire just months before a worldwide pandemic crippled the travel industry. Ew, David. Mr. Robot. Parks and Recreation. Jerry/Larry/Gary totally won the show. I love that they aged up all the characters except his daughters and his wife, who must be, 90 years old and still looks like Christy Brinkley. Because they start their day with a Gurgitch way with eggs, bacons and toast. You kidding me? Jerry won life. 1. Despite his embarrassing foibles at the office, he never took it home with him and had a happy life with Gail and his 3 daughters. 2. He was an incredible artist. 3. Amazing Christmas parties every year. 4. He's installed as a figurehead mayor of Pawnee Eagleton, but is so inoffensive and warm that he literally stays mayor for the rest of his life by landslide re-elections. 5. Lived to 100, despite a questionable diet and surviving a heart attack. Died on his 100th birthday in his sleep. That's textbook perfect. 6. 7. If you're into blondes, here's Gary's wife. YouTube link. Web link. Dark. Breaking Bad. Walter chose his own death after he checked everything on his to-do list, giving his family the money, setting Jesse free from the neo-Nazis and killing them, his last enemies. No one could kill Heisenberg except for Heisenberg. He dies in a meth lab, the place where he felt most alive, and the song, Baby Blue, is a perfect choice. Absolutely stunning show. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.